Yeah, I hope that you hearing me. This is the future, all about cybersecurity. Talking about the hackers, I'm just trying to warn you. From the one and only legend, the cyber informer. Hey, yeah, this is the cyber reformer. This is the cyber reformer. Let's go.
It's time for the Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast Q&A video. I'm Michael Tremblett, the Cyber Informer, and today we'll be answering the question, what is ransomware? We talked a lot about ransomware, but what does it do? In this video, we'll show you how ransomware works, the stages of a ransomware attack, why the technology is unbreakable, and I'll demonstrate technology that is similar. Let's go. The question has been asked, what is ransomware? The answer is, ransomware is a malware tool used by hackers to lock your data, making it inaccessible to you without a key. The key will be provided after you pay the hacker what they are asking. But there is more to it these days than simply locking your data, which we will dive into. This propeller hat zone is rated 3 out of 5 because we will be talking about how ransomware works and the different types of keys used in ransomware. How does ransomware work? These are the stages of a ransomware attack. Infection, key exchange, encryption, extortion, then unlocking. Infection. You will click on a link or run a program. There are many different ways you can get infected. This could even be deployed by an active attack. An active attack means a hacker has penetrated your network and deployed the ransomware manually. More about this later in this video. Key exchange. The computer will contact the command and control server operated by cybercriminals, which will securely exchange a key, which is used to encrypt your data using unbreakable encryption. We'll talk about the mathematics of the key shortly. Encryption. The ransomware will search your computer and the network for files. It will then encrypt them. This is an important step. If you have access to all files on your network, the ransomware will lock all files. Importantly, if you are able to access your backup disks or NAS device, the ransomware will be able to access it also. This is why it's important to have security controls in place which secure your backups. Extortion. When your backup is locked, it will leave instructions on how to get your data back and how to pay. This payment method is usually in Bitcoin or Monero coin, and you'll have a code to provide to the hackers. That code will be matched to your key back on the command and control server. If you have working backups, you can mitigate this step by recovering your data from the backup. However, if your backup has been encrypted too, you may have no other choice. If you have implemented the 3-2-1 backup strategy we talked about back in the Essential 8 Topic 2 Daily Backup video, you could recover your data from these backups because you would have a copy of your data kept off-site, thus not subjected to the ransomware attack. If you were subjected to an active attack, this may not be the end of it. We'll talk about that in the 1-2 punch of ransomware later in this video. The final stage is unlocking. Once payment is made, you will receive a key and a decryption program to unlock your data. It's now over to you to unlock your data. How does ransomware encrypt? Okay, well this is kind of where it gets complex. The encryption techniques will likely combine 2048-bit RSA and 256-bit AES encryption methods. The key exchange connection will be encrypted with RSA 2048. This is known as public key cryptography. I won't get into the details of how this works, but just know it is a well-known cryptography method and it is used on all secure websites you visit. Remember the padlock icon in the web address we covered in the Do I Need a VPN video? This is the cryptographic method used to give you the padlock so you know it is secure. Advanced Encryption Standard or AES encryption is much faster for encrypting files and less CPU intensive. So this will be the encryption technique used to encrypt your files. The key is what hackers will use to encrypt and also decrypt your data. For the hackers, keeping the key secret is essential to extorting money from you. Let's see this step by step. Stage 1 is infection. The hacker sends an email, which is opened and the malicious link is clicked. Stage 2 is the key exchange. The computer will contact the command and control server, operated by the hacker, which will securely exchange a key, which is used to encrypt your data using unbreakable encryption. Stage 3 is the encryption. The ransomware will search your computer and the network for files, and it will encrypt them, which will lock you out of being able to access them. Stage 4 is the extortion. When your data is locked, it will leave instructions on how to get your data back and how to pay. The most common form of payment is in Bitcoin. Once they receive the Bitcoin, you will receive your key. Stage 5 is unlocking your data. Once the payment is made, you'll have your key and you'll have a decryption program to unlock your data. It is then up to you to unlock your data or have an IT company assist. Let's have a look at the mathematics of the key to understand what a 256-bit key is. A bit is a contraction of the words binary digit. A binary digit can be in one of two states, on or off. which is represented as either a 1 or a 0. With no exceptions, all digital data is represented as 1s and 0s. A 256-bit key is 256 binary digits long, which can either be 1s or 0s. 256 1s or 0s has the equation of 2 to the power of 256, which gives you this 78-digit long number of possible combinations. Even with the fastest computer on Earth, it will take millions of years to guess the key. Hackers know the mathematics, which is why they use this encryption technique. For those who like numbers and want to know what that number is, let's have a look at it on the next slide. I'm not even going to attempt to say this. You'll see nonillion towards the end. Back in the video, what password should I use, we learnt that 44 nonillion combinations guessed at a rate of 100 billion combinations per second will take roughly 1.4100 billion centuries to guess every combination. We decided this amount of time will be well in excess of our sun burning out. I'm not sure I can calculate how long it will take to find a key with this many combinations. In other words, you can't guess the key to get your data back. Did you get all of that? Yeah, it's complex to us, but to hackers, it is easy. We'll downgrade the propeller hat zone to a 2 out of 5. We'll talk less about the theory and more about the practical. So the question is, how does ransomware get on my PC? The most common vector is clicking on a malicious email link. User training on how to spot malicious links is ideal, along with a good quality spam filter to remove these emails before they even get to your inbox. If an email gets through and a malicious link is clicked on, having an advanced antivirus or EDR software prevents further damage. Another vector is active hacking through insecure remote access software. A recent interview with a member of the Revil ransomware gang revealed remote desktop protocol is the best vector for infection. If you have remote access to your business, now more than ever you need to make sure it's secure. Another way in is exploitation of vulnerabilities. The Revil gang member said there is a vulnerability called Bluegate, which they expect to be exploiting for a long time. There are a long list of vulnerabilities that are being discovered daily. Even misconfigured printing could allow a hacker in using the print nightmare vulnerability. Minimizing your exposure footprint is critical to securing yourself. In a scarier twist, hacking groups are offering ransomware as a service to those who can provide the foothold into networks. If you provide a way in to deploy the ransomware, they will write the program, deploy it, negotiate the price, then cut you in on the spoils. So you have to ask yourself, are the third parties that look after your systems doing what they can do to prevent individuals from purposely getting you infected with ransomware to earn some extra cash? Contractors and employees are called insiders. According to one study, negligent insiders account for 62% of all incidents, and malicious insiders account for 14% of all incidents. This is scary because you could be blocking outside threats, but the biggest threat could be within your business. This is what I call the 1-2 punch of the ransomware attack. Before locking up your data, the hackers will first gain access to your network and systems. They exfiltrate all of your data to their servers. The hackers will then deploy the ransomware to lock your data. As per the ransomware paradigm, they will then ask you for a ransom to unlock your data. However, if you recover your data from your backups without paying the ransom, they then ask you for a ransom to not release your personal data. Imagine if your private email was exfiltrated and the world was able to see your private conversations. What about all of your contracts and client information? It's scary, isn't it? This is how the hackers mitigate against the Essential 8 data backup mitigation strategy. Hackers have a mitigation for a mitigation. How to pay. Most ransomware will ask for a payment in Bitcoin as it is the most popular cryptocurrency. The reason they ask for this form of payment is because it is believed Bitcoin transactions are anonymous. The bad guys know it is not entirely anonymous, so they will use a different payment address for each ransom note they leave, so they can't be traced back to one person or group. According to the Revil gang member mentioned previously, Monero coin is the preferred mode of payment due to the difficulties in tracking transactions. Again, it's all about remaining anonymous so they can't be found. This is not a ransomware product. This is a legitimate encryption tool that I'm using to show how easy it is to encrypt and decrypt using 256-bit AES encryption. After logging in, we'll just continue the trial, and now we'll go up to options. Notice that the encryption is set to AES 256-bit. The file that we'll be encrypting is that notepad on the left-hand side. When I hit encrypt, watch it will disappear and appears down the bottom of the screen there now. We'll do the same for that image, which is just above it. You'll see it now disappears, and we have another encrypted file. If we want to unencrypt it, we double-click on it, and we then have to enter our password. Remember, back with the ransomware, they will send you the password or the key in order to unlock your data. Notice if we put in the incorrect password, we can't open up the file. But if we enter the real password, or let's say this is the key that the hacker has sent you, we now can open up the file. What the hacker will do will send you a tool to decrypt your files, which will be not too dissimilar to what we're seeing. You'll see your files in it, you'll click on it, you'll click on decrypt, and likely you'll have to enter your key, but because we entered the key earlier, it's not asking us again. But now we can see that the encrypted files have disappeared, and now you have the original files which you can just double click on to access as you normally would. Whilst this is not an actual ransomware product, this is a close simile to what you would be required to do in order to recover your data should you pay a ransom to a hacker. Now we'll have a look at some of the notes that get left behind by hackers after your data has been locked up. This is a ransomware called BitPaymer. It tells you your network has been encrypted, gives you an ID number, and a convenient QR code to send your Bitcoin payment to. This is the Doppelpaymer ransomware. They tell you that your time is limited and to go to their website using the Tor browser. As we know, this is how we access the dark web. You can see the unique ID at the bottom of the notes. When you enter this into their dark website, you'll get instructions on how to pay. This is Medusa Locker. Notice this one uses the 1-2 punch of ransomware. It shows you the data they have exfiltrated, and it gives you a site where you can go and download the proof from. Here is Netwalker. The file extension is your unique ID. They tell you to use the Tor browser and their dark website to organize payment. This is NotPetya, which is a variant of the early ransomware product, Petya. You can send Bitcoin, then contact them at their email address with your installation key to receive your decryption key. This is Ryuk. Same thing, send Bitcoin, then email them at their Proton Mail or Tutanota email addresses. These email services promise that your email is completely encrypted, so even the provider cannot see into it. Similar to the Bitwarden password manager's security. Again, this aids in confidentiality and anonymity. This is SamSam. Go to their website to chat with them to organize payment and get your decryption key. That's ransomware for you. Scary, isn't it? We'll exit the propeller hat zone now. How do we mitigate against ransomware? User training. Prevention is better than a cure. Operate your network with the least privilege principle. The less data a user who opens the wrong email has access to, the less damage will be done. Ensure you are backing up and that the backups are secure. As discussed, this will not prevent your personal data being released to the world if they have exfiltrated your data first. On a side note to this, there was a business over in America who was having trouble restoring their data from backups, and they were threatened with the release of their data to the world. They told the hackers to release it to the world so they could grab a copy of it to recover their systems. I'm not sure if that was a bluff, but it was an interesting retort. Keep your patching up to date. As we heard earlier, things like Print Nightmare and Bluegate keep getting found in systems, and if you're not patching, you will be left vulnerable. Secure your remote access. Ensure remote access to your networks is secure. Hiding your critical systems behind a VPN is the best solution. All in all, to protect yourself fully, you need to be implementing everything the Essential 8 tells you to do. What did we learn? We learnt what ransomware is and how it works. We understand trying to guess the encryption key is infeasible. We know there are ransomware gangs selling ransomware as a service to malicious insiders. We learnt a little about the Revil or Sodino Kibi ransomware gang and how they operate. We know it's not just about locking your data, it's about exfiltrating it too. We know the Essential 8 will help mitigate against ransomware. Thank you for joining me for a look at ransomware. This is the biggest threat facing small business on the internet, so I hope you will look seriously at protecting yourself. Don't forget you can contact me via email, Instagram, Facebook or Twitter. Also, check out the podcast on Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and where all good podcasts are found. Search and subscribe to Cybersecurity Business Connect and Protect Central Coast, the podcast. Until next time, stay safe online.
Oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down like, oh yeah, this is the Cyber Informer. Hackers, you going down, yeah.